Being curious of what life without music might be, but I need to express myself as we return to the keys. It's not a choice, that music would set me free, and maybe that's destiny. Get a job, be smart, living off music. Don't let your life fall apart, that's all I hear. So I try not to open my ears. Stuck in the middle with the voices in my head, so I try to avoid listening to it. Bumping into obstacles in my way, and this makes me wanna pray for an answer to make it enough in the end. But I'm just not hearing it yet. Cut me in half.
I'm Joe Nava. I play music. I sing and I rap, and I play the sample pad where I loop stuff. So I make my own beats on the spot with the Ableton Live, and yeah, then I rap and sing over it. So I just do original songs.
You write all your own stuff?
Yes, everything is original. I released an EP 8-9 months ago, which the stuff I don't play too much anymore. I play new stuff now. Which
what was that called?
The old one?
Yeah.
Mindfuck.
Mindfuck.
Okay. Mindfuck EP. Yeah,
Tell us a bit about that.
I'm selling it now actually. I'm gonna do one of the songs from that EP now. I'm gonna put it onto the sample pad, so you know when people buy it, then there's one of those songs is on there as well. But yeah, that one was very. I used to be very angry at the world, so that one was kind of 4 different mindsets, like the 4 different songs, 4 different mindsets. So it's like a concept EP. So four different ways of looking at life. So one was like the frustrated attitude, and one would be like the hopeful one, and what, like, you know, so it was like different mindsets like that. And where now the stuff I do is quite, I'd say empowering. Well, I don't know if it is to other people, but it's empowering for myself, because the way I express myself is that I stopped thinking negatively and started thinking positively, and it transforms your life. Like I read this quote, it's like you can never have a positive life with a negative attitude, which is true, right? You can never have a happy life with a negative attitude. So I think now my stuff is more like you do have the power to do whatever you want, and you can become whatever you want if you picture it in your mind and you believe it, you know. So I think it's just a different mindset now, and I think that's why people on the street as well, they connect with it, because they hear that and they get like that is empowering and there's power in it, and they're like, oh, okay, sick, like, and people catch on to that vibe, I think, because everybody wants to feel powerful, I think.
Of course,
you know.
Of course. I listened to your set and I thought it was great. It sort of reminded me a little of Eminem.
Thanks.
Yes.
That's a good thing.
Yes. So, I mean, why did you decide to get into?
Well, he was actually. I think there will always be influences by him, because I did listen to him a lot when I was younger. He was like, for a long time, I was like, yeah, really only like hip hop wise, I was only listening to him, and I really got that in a lot when I was younger. And now I don't like. He's still like, oh my God, so much respect. But I don't listen to him anymore as much. I still listen, like, see, that's what I say. Now I'm saying something like, I don't want to get it in.
Oh, that's good. I mean,
no.
That's good.
I mean, I used to listen to him.
You're an artist in your own right.
Yeah, I used to listen to him a lot. I still listen to him, but not as much anymore, because now I listen to a lot of other stuff. And it's not just hip hop. It's everything. Like, you can hear my beats are not really hip hop beats. Like, I rap, but it's not hip hop beats. It's like, they're more like poppy or dancey. Even some of like the straight kick drum has that doof, doof, that dance feeling. But that's the thing, I try not to define it. I'm like, I rap, I sing, I make beats, because music is music, right? And you don't have to put it in a box. You don't have to say that, like, it's that or it's that. It's just music. And I always, people are like, so what do you do? I'm like, watch, and you can decide, because I don't know how to describe it really. It's a feeling. I do music with feeling, because that's how I make my songs. It's like I make a hook, and then I'm like, oh, I hear this in my head, so I completely go with a gut instinct thing when I write. It's not like oh, now I have to stick in the frames of this genre or something. It's just going with it. I just go with it. It's okay, I hear that, and okay, this is the feeling that it gives me, so this is the lyrics that's coming out, this is the build up, this is, yeah, so that's kind of how I work, not outside of the box.
When did you start?
I've been singing my whole life. Because my mom's a singer, my dad's a guitarist, so there was just always music in the house.
What kind of music did your mom and dad?
Well, none of them professionally, but they just both loved it a lot. My mom is a jazz singer, very good, and yeah, me too. That's another thing that I love it, love that as well. My dad, I think more rock and pop when he used to play a lot. And yeah, so that was always around. So I was singing from very young age because we would always sing. Like on a Friday night, it would just my dad on the guitar, my mom sing along, and I sing along, and then, you know. So that was very natural. And then I started rapping because I heard some local freestyle rappers or something that was like. In Danish, it was like, you give me a word from the crowd, and then people were like, shoe, and then they would rap about a shoe. You know, it was really sad. I'm Danish Dutch, yeah, Danish Dutch. I only lived in Denmark though, so that started, and I started to rap because when you're a kid, you don't give a fuck if people think it's weird. You just, again, it's a gut thing. You just go with it, and I was like, I'm gonna rap, and I didn't care if it was weird that I was in this nice neighborhood and I was a young girl, 12 years old, and I did my first EP. And it's actually one rap song and one like rap singing song. Like I did that when I was 12 in my uncle's studio because he's a professional musician. And I stopped because society, and it's like, I'm not blaming anybody, but I was just very insecure, and wasn't normal to be a rapper when you're like 12 years old from a little city in Denmark. Like it was not like all my friends were rappers, you know. It was not like a gang thing. It was just me like, yo, stop bullying and shit like that.
Yeah.
It was, and that's what I mean. When you're a kid, you don't care about that stuff because you don't know what's weird. But then you become a teenager and you're like, whoa, am I odd? And I was odd, but that's so I stopped. I stopped because I didn't want to stand out. I wanted to do anything to not be the weird kid. And then I moved to London, and I realized people like weird, and
They love it.
I love weird. They love different. They love. You want to be an artist, man? Sing. Like that was an American accent, but like, you want to be an artist, man? Yo, go for it. And so I started to write. The rap thing came back because it wasn't. I don't think that when you're a kid, it's a coincidence when you do something. I think it's a feeling from inside because you're not colored by everybody's opinions. But then you grow up and you start to be, especially if you're insecure. And I think that came back to me, and that's why I realized it was not for no reason. I was rapping as a kid and writing songs. That was my main thing. I was a songwriter. Like I wrote. It was not like I just rapped and I learned other people's rap. I would write. It would just come out, you know. And then I came here and I started to rap again, and I started to write again, and it just came back because I found back to myself, and I stopped caring because people didn't care. People thought it was cool, and I just found back to that. And first, half a year ago, I picked up the sample pad thing. I bought it 1.5 years ago, picked it up twice, and was like, I'm never gonna learn this. I don't know how to play in time. I'm not a musician. I used to play classical piano for a bit, but that's also not the same thing, because when you play with a band, you gotta play tight. But when you just play on your own, it's completely different, you know. It's a feeling thing. So I was like, I'm never gonna learn to play in time, right? You know.
So you're a classical.
Well, that's just like, I can say it, yeah, I used to play, but I'm not. I still say I'm not really a pianist, and then people will be like, oh, that's just you being humble. But I'm not. Like, if you put me in a room with great musicians to jam, I would have no idea. Like, I know like some of the basics, and I know enough to just listen it through and kind of, like I said, I don't work theoretically or after the rules. I just work with my hearing. So if I hear a bass line, I'm like, do 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 do. I would just find the notes, you know. It's not because I then just know where they are. I just listen and find it. So yeah, I picked that up for the third time. For the first 2 times, I was like, I'm never gonna learn this. And I picked it up one more time, and the third time was like, yes, and now I'm doing it, and now I'm very happy.
It sounds great.
It took me 3 years of being in London to get, 2.5 to pick that up and properly be, now I got my thing. Like, this is what I wanna tour the world with. This is like, do you know what I mean? Like, I think every musician wait for that moment in their life where they're like, this is my act, like find that thing. And I think with my EP that I did was singing and rapping, but that combination of like, it was very much rap. It was very like, where here you can see it's very connected. It's like it goes from rapping and then suddenly it's singing and then back to rapping, and it seems less divided. So I think this whole thing, and also the vocal harmonies that I loop, I think that kind of made it more connected as well, because then even if I'm rapping, I still have the voices in the background and everything just, that's what I mean. So when I started to just do beats, and then I added, after a few months, I added the vocal harmonies, and when I added that element, I think everything just blended together, because then it was like everything was connected. And I think that's what I've been looking for a long time, like that balance, and now that's it. So
you're bringing out a new record? Did you say?
So I'm releasing a live video, which is essentially what I do, because I started to Busking a few months ago, and people were like, where is this stuff? Where is the stuff you play on the street? And I was thinking of a way to get it out to people, and so actually this week I wrote 2 new songs, and I recorded Freeway, which is one of the songs I played today.
I heard that.
Yeah. So that one I'm gonna release within the next week. And
just one thing left to say, just one thing in my way. Listen, if our world is made of type of roads, I don't want to carbon flames and looking for roads. That's all we know is that we're destined to go. To make it memorable, why we here is all we need to know. Life is a fight till you find that inner peace. Those whenever the track, no, they'll set you free. Gotta stop.
yeah, that's really cool.
Well, what's it going to be on your channel or on?
Yeah, so I'm gonna put like a short clip on my Instagram, because I wanna like promote it, and I thought you can only upload 1 minute anyways or something. I'm gonna put the full video on YouTube and the full video on Facebook, because it's like 6 minutes long. It's like quite a long song, so yeah, and then just put the link, and that's it. Like I have a good feeling about it, so let's see what happens with that.
Do you do a lot of gigs?
You know what, that's funny, because I used to do gigs when after I released that EP, I had a band and I had the release party and we did like some gigs and stuff, but then I realized I got tired of telling very good musicians what to do, because they do it better than I could ever do it. So I think, but I mean, like, go to a drummer who played for 10 years and be like, not like that, or maybe, do you know, and I was like, I don't want to be a dick and tell people like, not like that, because I have a very clear vision in my mind, like, with everything else in life, you decide where we go, you decide which wine we drink, but with my music, I want to be in control of every little detail, you know. So for me to have a band and then not being, I just didn't feel right in the end. So I picked up the sample pad and I was like, well, I can't blame anyone but myself if I don't get it right, because then I can replicate the drums, I can replicate piano, I can do the choir bit, I can get backing vocal, I can get everything on that. Of course, it's not gonna be the same sound, but you know what I mean. So so I used to gig a lot, and now I canceled actually the last one, which was in March, and we had one more book because it didn't feel right, and I started to really just go with my gut. That's why everything changed for me as well. Like, I do this for a living now, and I used to have not earned a single penny in the beginning of the year ever on my music. I think like maybe one time like 20 quid or something, you know. And I started to just really go with my gut and be positive and be grateful, and I just felt like it was wrong to do that gig. And most people would be like, are you stupid? Like, you're just starting to gig, why would you fucking cancel a gig, you know? But I just didn't feel right, so I canceled it, and I started learning that. And now I had another one, which I got ill, which is so weird because I'm never ill and I never canceled anything. But I think maybe it was just not supposed to. I really do think so, because then I didn't do that one, and then I had another one which got pushed out of a sudden. So I'm like, maybe this is all leading to one big gig in like 1.5 months, and I'm just gonna sell out the O2 or something. And then everybody for the last 6 months who was like, when are you playing a gig? I just gonna. You know, I don't know, but it's weird because I could definitely play gigs, but it's like it always like
something happens.
And it's like maybe it's just I'm supposed to build that hype, and then I do one big one, and it's like I don't know, but again it's like going with it as well, I think. Also because the gigs you can do in the beginning is also like how many people you're gonna play to, how much you're gonna earn. Like did you see the crowd today? Not like in a
great,
but it was just like for me I was like, whoa, it's beautiful, like that people stop and they can relate to it and they can connect with it. And that was maybe what you think most 100 people?
Yeah, I'd say
Yeah.
so, yeah. But I mean, you did. They were stopping, they were listening, they were clapping. I mean,
that's what I mean. Like then you can ask yourself, like you said, you do a lot of gigs, and it's like, and then you can ask yourself and be, but what's the point? Maybe because if you then play to a room of 30, 40, maybe 50 people, and then you play 25, and then you wait, and then you get paid like 20 quid or a beer or a meal or maybe nothing at all, then it's like, do you rather do 2 sets here and make more money and play to more people? And you know, even the people who doesn't stop, this was people who stopped, there's people who walk past and still, so
they were all checking.
Yeah,
because I've seen that
I
as
think
well.
so.
There was a lot of people walking by, like they didn't stop, but they did check you out.
That's what I
and they
mean.
thought, she sounds good.
Yeah, and that's, I think that's the thing, is like I said to my dad when I began, like my family, I was like, well, maybe even if you only get, let's say, 20 people who stops at some point or something, you still have maybe played to 1,000 people that day who have actually heard that voice, think, oh, that's like a bit different, have picked up on it, maybe even have checked out the sign, maybe if not, like, and even if they did, they'd be like, oh, Joe Nava, they walk by and they never think about it, but then you pop up again, or you maybe again, and then they're like, oh, that was that video. And then I think it's about, that's what I mean, it's just if you're out there, and if those 1,000 people have picked up on who you are, they will then, like when they hear your name again and again, at some point they're gonna be like, wait, I gotta go and check this out. So I think it's not if they are all 1,000 people are gonna go and follow you in one day. It's not like that. It's just about they know that you exist, I think.
But you never know. Even if you got 100 out of that, it would be fantastic one day, you know?
I have it sometimes, like when I started, I was like, oh yeah, you can maybe pick up a few followers and a few quid, but it was like, then one day I did, and I had like 30 followers, new followers in one day, and that's still people who took their phone and put in my name and like, then, you know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. Then there's the other loads of people who just have seen it and liked it, or just even filmed it, but not followed, you know? So that's sick. So yeah, just love it. I did busking the first time. I did it with a shitty amp. I was fucking nervous. I was shitting myself, and I did it. And even though it went not horrible, but it didn't went well, because I was like, I haven't played forever, and I was still like, this culture, like the whole vibe that you get there, you chat to the people, you sit around and you talk in between sets, then you go get something to eat. It's like, how would you spend your day anyways if you were off on a Sunday? Probably here, right? Or in the museum. But then I can do that and play and make money and do that for a living, just like chill the fuck out and play a few hours, you know? So I just fell in love with I can't, maybe it's more like the feeling of it and the vibe of it, because it's a lifestyle. Like the people who properly busk, it's not like then I do it like once here and then. The people who properly do it, like I only been doing it a little bit on and off, and then some weeks I've done it like properly. It's like, I don't know, you become a busker, and it's like, it's sick, but it's not, I don't know. I took now a week off to write. And that was very hard for me because I was like, I should just be out there. And the last 2 weeks I played so much and it was so good for me. But I think you can never come out there with new material or be great or get better if you don't take the time to write that new stuff. And now I wrote 2 songs this week that I'm like so proud of. Like,
how do you go about writing a song?
Well, it's interesting because the only one I really wrote completely from scratch by myself that I play now, except for the new one. I played a new one today, it's called Next Level. That was the first song. I played it again when I fucked up the loop and I had to start over.
Right, okay.
This one's for the next level. Yeah. That one I just wrote, and that one, which is completely new, and then the song that's called Pound. All the things that I'm grateful for, none. One of them was like, that's the only one I've written completely from scratch by myself on the sample pad, and that's when I think I discovered that love for the sample pad and this thing that you can like have these 5 different channels. So like for me it's about having 5 or 6 different elements and then like just fucking around with it, because you like, then you have the hook bit, then you have the bass, then you have the main drums, then you have like a different drum pattern that's like the filler, the more hi-hat, maybe a few claps or something. Then you have like the harmony bit, which is like the legato flowy bit that combines everything. And you have one more instrument, which is another instrument which is also legato kind of flowy, like strings or something, for example, you know? Because then you have the main melody, which is a melody line, a bass, and the drum beat, which is often all staccato, quite like strict to the point. And then you have these 2 things that combines it, the harmonies and like the string bits, that's like legato, and then you have that extra drum pattern that can kind of fill in. So I think when I wrote that first song completely from scratch, because the other ones is stuff I've written and then with someone and then I replicated it on the sample pad. That one I wrote completely from scratch and I was so proud of it and I was so happy, and I found out, oh fuck man, I can make beats, because I used to always have someone help me write the music, you know. And then now
It sounds very complicated, doesn't it? I mean, it sounds difficult. Otherwise everybody be doing it.
No, I know, but I think people always like this, and it's so complicated to write a good song. But it is if you go too technical about it. That's what I'm saying as well. I think it's a vibe thing. You gotta capture that feeling.
Yeah.
But it seems to work for me. Again, I can't tell people how to write a song, that to have 5 or 6 elements that I can play with. So what I did this week, like go about writing, which was like 2 months ago I wrote the other one. So this again, just sitting down and writing it from scratch, is like, if I don't have a good hook that I made up, I'll find like a sample, like a violin bit, and literally chop every single note out, so I won't never just have a thing I start and it's pre-recorded and I just nicked it from somewhere. I get it down and then maybe it's go do 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 or something, and I chop them all out and then I make do 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 do. You know? Yeah, so I would pick all the notes out and then I create a new thing from that. From the main hook, for me it seems that everything else just comes. Then I hear like dun, 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 dun. Then I hear the bass. Then I hear this one needs a straight kick. Okay, so I think, like you said, how did I go about writing? I think it's about getting 5 or 6 good elements going, like 2 rhythmical ones, 2 bit is a bit legato, the main hook and then the bass, right? Because I don't know. Yeah, I think that works for me. But that's what I mean. It's for everyone is different. Some people would write in a different way, but that seems to work for me now. In the beginning, I would have way too many elements, and then you kind of have one thing that's a bit shitty and you try to just cover it with more shit, and essentially it's like just sounds very muddy and very like, it's like sometimes less is more. That's why I'm saying if you get like 5 or 6 good bits, like in terms of rhythm, in terms of like melody and harmony and everything, then that's enough. Like you can do a really good song with just dropping in different bits, and then you have these 5 or 6 different bits that you can like, okay, now I'm gonna mute the bass and then I'm gonna mute the rhythm pattern. Okay, that sounds like that. That sounds more like then I can mute but then I can solo the harmonies and then I can solo the extra drum bit, and then it will kind of go and that's a build-up feeling. Okay, maybe I could use that for a pre-chorus. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
so it's kind of, And with lyrics and melody, hooks is funny because I've been singing for longer, but when I hear a good beat, I just want to rap on it. Like, it's the first thing. It's like, man, this rhythm and I just need the words but it's harder, I think, to make a good hook. Like, you have to sometimes just what do you hear? Like, for example, in that one I just wrote, it was just na 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 na, and I was like, I can't sing na 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 na. So I put words in instead because it kept coming back in my mind. So I was like, every time you close your eyes, just let it go. Every time you fold your hands, I say I told you so. Do you know?
Yeah,
so I think melody-wise, come up with the meter or the rhythm and the notes, and then fill in the words. That feels right. Like, the words has to be right as well. It's very important. I used to be like, I'm more a lyricist than a musician. Now I think I'm both, but I used to almost sacrifice rhythm and melody just to get the right words. But I realized the importance really.
The words, are they all from sort of personal experiences?
So when I said before empowering or powerful, that's probably, well, the music as well. I love when it's like a majestic feeling, like the beat. If I can get that in people, then if you can feel you go somewhere higher, that's crazy. But like lyrically, yeah, like all about the power we have, like for ourselves, not like even in the world, but like people always, I think a lot of people think that you don't have any power, everything just happens to you, and that is not in your control. Where I realized a lot of things is in your control, because you control a lot of things. Well, for me, I believe that it's everything you control through your mind, because it's really about what mindset you put there. Like, if you believe that this is going to happen 100%, it will be your reality. And I'm living proof of it, because I started to be like, I'm going to do it, and I'm going to busk, and I'm going to that, and I'm like, if you can be grateful all the time, you only get more things to be grateful for. That's what I believe. So I think if I was like just grateful, and I truly believe, man, I can fucking make a living of busking, and I believed it, and it happened, and I made more of what I would ever ask for, you know. So yeah, that's the main lyric, is that thing that, like, kind of talking to a person sometimes as well, being, you think it's like that, but it's not. Like, you can choose and you can decide, and that's what I mean. It's like, I suppose, like empowering, but yeah, both the beats and the lyrics are like majestic. It's like, we're more than this, and like you can do whatever you want. You just have to like go for it and believe in it, and not make up a million excuses, you know. It's hard to explain. They used to be very literal, my lyrics, and now they're a bit more like, you gotta get it, which I like, because then people can also, if you're very literal, you can interpret it a lot. It's just what it is. But if it's a bit more like written between the lines, you can make your own meaning of it as well. So I make empowering music. Well, for myself, it's empowering, because I feel good when I do it, and if it can have that.
No, you stand out when you perform.
Thank you.
You do very much so, yeah. I thought so, and people did as well, you know.
Yeah.
I thought you put on a great performance. I only seen half a dozen numbers, I think. Maybe 5, 6 of you today. I only seen you perform the
yeah. But I only have 5 songs now, actually, because then I repeat, so you probably just saw all of them. Yeah, that's the thing. That's why as well I took the week off to just.
It was great. It was fantastic.
Thank you, man. Thank you so much.
I want you to sing a song for me, a cappella.
Now?
Yeah. Would that be possible?
Yeah. Should I sing the pre-chorus and the hook of the new song?
I'll leave it entirely up to you.
If you feel lower, play your cards over again. The time to pick an ace will always be there unless. If you feel lower, play your cards over again. You pick an ace unless you fold. Every time you close your eyes, just let it go. Every time you fold your hands, I will say I told you so. For every armor you broke, now you know there's hope. Oh no. For the next level, raise your glass for the next level. This one's for the next level. I promise this one's for the next level. Peace.
Brilliant.
Thank you.
Where can people find your, if they want to?
Yeah, that's the thing, because now, like, I guess you can find the old stuff, which is not like, you always think the new stuff you write is better, but like, it's more what I do now with the sample pen and stuff. I'm releasing a live video, like, within 1 week from now for sure it's released. I think that is a bit on still, but it's Tuesday or Wednesday it's gonna be out. I just have to decide which day I have time to upload it. And so that is like probably the thing you want to go and watch, because that's what I do now. That's the live video. YouTube and Facebook, and then you can find a snippet on it on Instagram, which will lead you to the YouTube anyways.
Okay.
So, and that's on Joe Nava, JO space NAVA, Joe Nava official on Instagram. And then if you want to check out the old stuff, which is also sick, but less what I do now, is yeah, the new stuff is better, I think. But check out that one as well. That's called Mindfuck EP, and it's on Spotify, Apple Music, everywhere all the streaming stuff, SoundCloud. I have a few videos on YouTube from that as well, and yeah, that's it.
Thank you very much.
No.